him wanting to be my boyfriend, which I quote-unquote my sugar daddy.
That's not true.
Your sugar daddy?
My sugar daddy.
Oh, no.
What's the age difference here, 42?
Yeah.
And you
27, so a sugar daddy.
When he did find a job while we was together, I was supposed to bring his lunch in for him. I called him, he didn't answer, and I know him. Anytime he don't answer the phone, it's a woman involved. And sure enough, it was.
I got stuck in a snowstorm with Mr. Tucker, and I had sex with both males, but I don't know if I went in the snowstorm pregnant. I got pregnant in the snowstorm.
If you came out of the snowstorm pregnant.
I'm not sure.
Ms. McDaniel claims she was deceived into having a baby by Mr. Lennon, who denies fathering the child and calls her promiscuous. The court session opens with these allegations, setting a tense atmosphere as the conflict between the two parties is immediately evident. The drama unfolds as Ms. McDaniel takes the stand, and you won't believe the roller coaster that awaits.
Ms. McDaniel, you say you were tricked into having a baby by the defendant, Mr. Lennon, but once you got pregnant, he ditched you and immediately denied he fathered your baby. Mr. Lennon, you say plaintiff is nothing but a promiscuous gold digger and there is no way you're her son's biological father. You suggest she contact the multiple men she slept with during the window of conception and return to court with the real daddy.
Well, that escalated quickly. Ms. McDaniel asserts that Mr. Lennon planned to get her pregnant despite his denials. She is emotional as she recounts how Mr. Lennon expressed a desire to have a biological child of his own, which she believed implicated him in planning their child. Hang tight, because Mr. Lennon's comeback is just around the corner, and it's a doozy.
He was the one to plan to have me pregnant, Your Honor.
He wanted a baby?
Yes. He told me that he wanted to have a child, which was biologically his, because he have two that's not his. And he's the deadest because he signed a birth certificate.
You know, Your Honor, that's not true. When I met her off of a site. From me meeting her from a site, I wanted to see what kind of person she is and see if she wanted to have a life.
Did he really just say that? Mr. Lennon shares a personal story about the loss of a child, which he uses to explain his cautious approach to relationships and his desire to see what kind of person Ms. McDaniel was before committing. The emotional reveal is heart-tugging, but keep your eyes peeled for what's coming next. It's a real eye-opener.
Your Honor, I had a 2-year-old child that passed in my life, and that kind of hurt. For me trying to pick up with my life, I wanted to meet somebody that was kind of good. So when I got up with her, it was like a simple point was like, I wanted to see what kind of lifestyle she was.
But did you not ask
But
for
also
sex?
too, we had sex when we was coming down the road, and then...
Sex was the first night I met Mr. Leonard.
So wait, you all met online?
We met online,
yes,
Your Honor.
we did.
You can't make this stuff up. The court laughs as a misunderstanding is cleared up regarding their first physical encounter, which happened spontaneously on the side of the road soon after meeting. This revelation highlights the impulsive beginnings of their relationship. Brace yourself. The courtroom's reaction to the next revelation will have you on the edge of your seat.
We pulled over, we had sex on the road. But then when we got to my house after we had sex, the first
all
thing...
on his mind when he hit me up.
Hold on. Let me understand this. Looking for love or looking for lust?
Looking for love, really.
So tell me the first time you all met, what happened?
When we met online and stuff, we decided, you know, we was talking and decided to get up.
He hit me in my DM, asking for my number. I gave him my number. He started texting me.
You won't believe this twist. Ms. McDaniel and Mr. Lennon recount their first meeting, which quickly led to a sexual relationship. This moment underscores the casual nature of their initial interaction and sets the stage for the ensuing complications. But just wait until you hear what's next. It's about to get even more tangled.
Him wanting to be my boyfriend, which I quote-unquote my sugar daddy.
That's not true.
Your sugar daddy?
My sugar daddy.
Oh, no.
What's
42.
the age difference here, 42?
Yeah.
And you
27, so a sugar daddy.
Were you looking for a sugar daddy?
Me, I was looking for somebody to really be my boyfriend / a father figure in my life. So, quote, yes, that's how he became attracted to me, because I never had a father figure in my life.
Talk about a plot twist. Mr. Lennon discusses his past experiences with paternity disputes, which have left him wary of committing without proof. This confession introduces his distrust and fear of being misled again. But hold your applause, because the testimony from Mr. Lennon's cousin will throw another curveball into the mix.
But you signed the birth
certificate. No, I did not sign no birth certificate.
So why you tell me that?
I did not tell you that.
You said that you got 2 kids that's not yours, that you signed the birth
Your Honor,
certificate for.
I did not
Your mother don't want the same thing to happen with this child. And I told
do not
my
want
sister
me to
about
get hurt like I did twice before.
I told my sister all about it, Your Honor. Everything. I tell my sister everything.
Is this your sister here?
Yes, Your Honor.
I want to hear from you, ma'am. Please stand up to the podium.
Now here's a spicy addition. Mr. Lennon's cousin, Cynthia Powell, testifies, accusing Ms. McDaniel of dishonesty and infidelity during her stay with Mr. Lennon. This adds another layer of complexity and doubt to the paternity issue. As the plot thickens, get ready for the DNA results. They're just moments away and will knock your socks off.
She's lying. The time that Maurice was
baby,
over,
you was
I
there
was
weak, and how you end up pregnant? Baby, get it right.
The time that I was staying with Mr. Leonard. Yeah, he would leave about 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning.
Going to work.
Return back from work at 6, but I never left that house. I stayed in his house.
Baby, you're lying. You left the home.
I stayed in the house.
You left the
The only
home.
time I left was to go across the street to ask her for a cigarette.
And here's the big reveal. The climax of the episode occurs as Judge Lake reads the DNA test results, revealing.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Lennon, you are not father.
That's right.
Like I told you. Like I told you. I told you.
Can you handle what's about to go down? Ms. Fuller blows the courtroom away with a jaw-dropping reveal from her mother's final moments, claiming the guy on her birth certificate isn't her real dad, but instead a famous crooner is. As she unravels this startling confession, it marks the beginning of her quest to unearth her true heritage. Buckle up, because the ride only gets wilder from here.
She confessed your dad was not the man listed on your birth certificate. You claim she then told you that your biological father was actually a well-known singer who was also the love of her life. Now, while you have doubts whether he is actually your biological father, you confess he's your last hope.
Things are getting thick now. Ms. Fuller digs into her tumultuous childhood memories, revealing the earth-shattering moment the man she believed was her dad declared he wasn't. This bomb was dropped on her twice, first as a suspicion, then confirmed by her mom when she turned 13, adding that her biological dad was no longer alive. Strap in, the emotional roller coaster is just picking up speed.
And he's told me, he said, I'm not your father. That was something that was just really devastating to me in my life. And he wasn't my real father, and that my father was dead, actually. Not to tell my sisters, but just that's something that she wanted me to, and I took and carried that with me for a long time. I'm 47 years old. I'd like some answers.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. As her mom's life was drawing to a close, she whispered that Cornelius might actually be Ms. Fuller's biological dad. Armed with just a name and a clue about a saxophone-playing lover, Ms. Fuller dives headfirst into a detective quest. What she uncovers next is nothing short of a soap opera.
She told me that really my father didn't know who that was, and that's who I think your father is. After she passed, I went online to find out who he is, possibly.
So she just gave you a name?
She gave me a name, and she said that basically that he was a saxophone player, he was a musician. I found a record in her stuff when I was going through her stuff.
You'll want to see this encounter. In an electrifying moment, brimming with emotion, Ms. Fuller finally comes face to face with Mr. Neal in the courtroom. Their first interaction is charged with potential and heavy with history. The scene that follows, even more heart-stirring.
Thank you.
Mr. Neal, thank you so much for being here today.
Yes.
You won't believe what he says next. Mr. Neal opens up about his whirlwind romance with Ms. Fuller's mother, Lorraine, during the socially turbulent 60s. Their love story faced societal judgments and ended in separation, leaving lingering what-ifs. Just when you think you've heard it all, there's more.
When she came down to the club, I would take her home. She lived in the other part of town.
In a nutshell, during the time you dated, that had to be the 60s, right?
Yeah.
When you were saying that dating interracially was a challenge and often frowned upon.
Yes.
You were on opposite sides of the track and different races.
Yes.
This just keeps getting better. Ms. Fuller whips out a timeline her adoptive father put together to dodge paternity claims, which lists potential candidates as her real dad. This document adds layers to her complex family saga. And guess what? The plot thickens even further ahead.
You knew nothing of the song?
No, not until I found the record and her stuff. The father I knew to be, he gave me a timeline of people who possibly be my father. Him trying to dismiss the fact that he was my father.
And this is, ma'am?
It's a timeline that my father presented to, I think, the county, because I think he was trying to acknowledge that he was not the father of me.
Are you ready for more? As they dissect their past and ponder the likelihood of Mr. Neal being her father, both are tangled in a web of uncertainty and hope. This pivotal discussion lays the groundwork for the DNA results that will finally bring clarity, and the big reveal is just moments away.
Mr. Neal, you are not Miss Fuller's father.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Miss Fuller.
It's okay. It's okay.
Miss Bryson has brought her ex-boyfriend, Mr. McCarroll, to court to prove he is the father of her 18-month-old son, despite her own multiple relationships. This moment sets the stage for the dispute and the emotional tone of the episode. Strap in, because you won't believe the roller coaster of emotions that's about to unfold.
Defendant, your ex-boyfriend, Mr. McCarroll, into court today because although you admit to having sex with more than one man, you are here with that Mr. McCarroll is the father of your 18-month-old son, Zylan McCarroll. Mr. McCarroll, you say say that because of Miss Bryson's admission, you have no choice but to believe that another man is Zylan's biological father.
Hold the phone. Miss Bryson accuses Mr. McCarroll of infidelity and expresses her distrust, claiming his unavailability is due to him being with other women. This accusation highlights the central issue of trust and fidelity within their relationship. And just wait until you hear Mr. McCarroll's jaw-dropping response.
Ms. Bryson, what is the nature of your relationship? You're separated?
Yes, ma'am. We're currently separated.
Are you working to get it back on track?
We're not working on getting anything back in track because Mr. McCarroll, he has whorish ways.
Wow.
And he wants me to be a whore like he is, and I'm not that type of person.
Did he just say that? In response to the allegations, Mr. McCarroll denies wanting Miss Bryson to mimic his behavior, reflecting his perspective on the accusations against him. This denial introduces his side of the story, setting up a narrative of misunderstood actions and intentions. The next part is even juicier as the tension builds up.
I have no idea where Miss Bryson gets that from.
Are you just trying to say he cheats on you a lot?
Every time we're together, he cheats. I wanted us to get married, and he doesn't want to do that because he wants to be a whore.
I tried to structure everything about my life, be here in this situation where she would never have to worry about who her baby daddy was or none of that crazy. I was trying to work and go to
anything that he does,
so that we could not be here and have question marks over these kids' heads.
It's getting spicy now. A heated argument about Mr. McCarroll not answering his phone when Miss Bryson calls, which she interprets as evidence of cheating. This detail underscores the breakdown in communication and trust that plagues their relationship. The saga continues, and trust me, it gets more tangled.
When he did find a job while we was together, I was supposed to bring his lunch in for him. I called him, he didn't answer, and I know him. Anytime he don't answer the phone, it's a woman involved. And sure enough, it was. His best friend still to this day. They cheat together. They do everything together, okay? They do everything together. He was
Well, wait a minute. You can't even read a book.
Yes, no, ma'am. I was reading, I believe it was James' autobiography some years ago.
You can't make this stuff up. While trying to enjoy a personal activity, Mr. McCarroll faces accusations of cheating just because he was quiet and downstairs, illustrating the pervasive mistrust and the suffocating nature of their relationship dynamics. The stakes get higher as evidence is dramatically presented next.
Come downstairs huffing and puffing. I've been downstairs too long. I'm too quiet. I'm reading a book. What you want me to do, man?
The reason I came downstairs, I heard him on the phone with a girl that he had currently slept with. And we got into it about that situation.
Man.
I talked to her. He was telling her she upstairs sleep with the baby. When I get a chance to get out, I'm gonna come over and we gon'
I don't know where
and
you
he's
got
like,
that. I want to take a lot of
It's always I'm dumb, I don't know nothing. Like he over here talking now like I'm the bad guy.
You thought you'd seen it all? Miss Bryson presents a conception calendar as proof of Mr. McCarroll's paternity, marking significant dates that could determine the father of her child. This evidence is critical as it ties directly to the legal and emotional outcome of the case. Fasten your seatbelt because another curveball is heading straight our way.
You're handing the calendar.
Ma'am, that's a conception calendar. Based on that calendar, I conceived my son on April the 28th.
In blue is the date you were intimate with Mr. McCarroll.
Yes, ma'am.
And now in pink, you have outlined window of conception that you calculate. How did you get these dates?
Where his date is? Oh, his circle over.
I actually went online because when I found out that I was pregnant, I had currently went to the doctor a week before. I was trying to have a son.
Talk about a plot twist. Mr. Perkins is introduced into the courtroom to discuss his potential paternity of Zylan. This development adds complexity to the case, revealing the intertwined relationships and the impact of Miss Bryson's decisions on all involved parties. The revelations coming up will blow your mind, and not in the way you expect.
Do you believe you are Zylan's biological father?
No, I do not, Your Honor. Because at the same time she was with me, she was messing around with him. And lost my train of thought just thinking about this stuff.
It makes you upset?
Yeah, because I found out that she was messing around. So she told me she was 99% sure that he was the father. There's a possibility that I could be.
Did you know she was still sleeping with Mr. McCarroll when she was with you?
No.
Grab your popcorn, here it comes, the climax of the episode where the DNA results are revealed, determining that neither Mr. McCarroll nor Mr. Perkins is the father of Zylan. This moment is pivotal as it resolves the paternity question, but opens up new emotional and relational challenges. Watch as the courtroom deals with this earth-shattering news.
When it comes to 18-month-old Zylan McCarroll, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Perkins, you are not the father. When it comes to 18-month-old Zylan McCarroll, it has been determined by this court, Mr. McCarroll, you are not the father.
Man, case closed. I ain't got no more to say. Say no more.
Just when you think you've seen it all, following the shocking DNA results.
Do you know?
Yes, ma'am. I obviously got pregnant in May. I thought I got pregnant in April. I was real early, so I know who it is. I was trying to have a son, and I wasn't thinking.
Who were you trying to have a son with?
Initially, I wanted one with him, but he wasn't ready. Like I said, I had to beg him. He wasn't ready to settle down. I was promiscuous, okay?
You made the decision you were going to sleep around with anybody, and then you're going to get a son.
Right, I did. It was a dumb decision.
This concerns me. You got to stop this.
Get ready for some courtroom drama. Judge Lake introduces the case as Stockley vs. Tucker. The court clerk, Jerome, sets the stage, and the audience responds with a friendly, good day. The formal introduction sets the tone for the upcoming legal and emotional exchanges, highlighting the importance of what's about to be unraveled. You're in for quite the story, so keep your eyes peeled.
This is the case of Stockley versus Tucker.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Miss Stockley, you say you feel pain and guilt in your heart for claiming the wrong man was your daughter, Waikia's biological father, for the past 23 years. You are here to right your wrong and now prove to the defendant is her dad.
You might want to sit down for this one. Mr. Tucker shows his doubt about being Waikia's dad, having only been informed of this possibility a few months ago. His skepticism adds a thick layer of tension and uncertainty to the proceedings, weaving a complex web of emotions and doubts around the paternity question. Get ready as the plot thickens with Waikia's backstory coming up next.
You say you were first told you were Waikia's dad only a few months ago. You and your daughter Candace say there is no way Day's DNA will reveal you are Waikia's biological father. Is that correct?
Your Honor, I don't know nothing about that, Your Honor.
Okay.
Here's a twist that tugs at the heartstrings. Waikia shares her childhood memories of hearing Mr. Tucker's name whispered as a potential father. This revelation deepens her character, showing the lifelong burden of not knowing her true parentage. The emotional depth here sets the stage for more revelations and a bit of a showdown that's about to unfold.
I always heard that it was a possibility that another guy might be my father. Even before I knew what a possibility was, this how long ago this was. All my life, I heard about this guy.
Well, I always knew Mr. Tucker could have been Waikia's father. At the time, I was in a relationship with my ex that was living with me. I always knew he could have been her father.
Things are heating up now. A sharp exchange sparks as Mr. Tucker questions the validity of Ms. Stockley's claims, leading to a terse and charged confrontation. This intense moment illustrates the complex personal dynamics and the emotional stakes involved in the case. Buckle up. The drama escalates with a crucial snowstorm backstory next.
You never knew anything about it?
No, only saw Waikia since she was 8 years old, and that was it.
You remember seeing Mr. Tucker when you were 8 years old?
Yes, I do.
Can you describe that encounter for the court?
Because I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember I was coming out of inn, we bumped into this guy, and this guy looked down over top of me, looked me in my face and said, "Do you know who I am? My name Willie." And I said, "I'm Mr. Willie." And he said, "No, tell her who I am." And then
Cue the dramatic flashback. Mrs. Stockley recounts a significant snowstorm where she and Mr. Tucker were trapped together, leading to intimate encounters that are central to Waikia's conception story. This crucial piece of the puzzle ties the dramatic personal narrative to the timeline of Waikia's birth. Hang tight, as the factual backbone of this story is verified next.
So, Ms. Stockley, you say the reason you feel guilty is because you had another man believing he was Waikia's father?
Yes, Your Honor. I was living with my ex-boyfriend at the time. I got stuck in a snowstorm with Mr. Tucker, and I had sex with both males, but I don't know if I went in the snowstorm pregnant. I got pregnant in the snowstorm.
Or if you came out of the snowstorm pregnant.
I'm not sure. Yes, Your Honor. I'm not sure how I went in.
Okay, but the bottom line is that's when you were with Mr. Tucker.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, this will knock your socks off. Judge Lake confirms the snowstorm dates through historical weather data, linking them precisely to the conception timeline. This factual verification lends a scientific edge to the emotionally charged testimony, setting the stage for a crucial moment of truth with the conception calculation just around the corner.
And so during those entire 3 days, you were intimate?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know when the snowstorm was?
February, March.
If I'm calculating right, that would be 93.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you guys were in Philadelphia?
Philadelphia, yes.
From Philadelphia. The snowstorm blizzard of 1993, Philadelphia. It says Philadelphia blizzard of 1993, the worst snowstorm in years, largest snowfall in the county. Snowstorm shut city down from March 12th.
The tension is palpable. Using a conception calculator, the court pinpoints Waikia's likely conception dates, which match the snowstorm timeline. This scientific confirmation moves us closer to resolving the paternity mystery, blending personal narratives with empirical evidence. The climax of this saga is next, revealing who the real father is.
Put in your birth date into this conception calculator and push calculate. The window of conception would be March 12th to March 18th. Sounds like things may have been heating up during that snowstorm. So, Miss Stokely.
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you with any other men during that time?
Yes, I was, Your Honor. I was with my ex that was my boyfriend at the time.
Hold on to your popcorn. This is the big reveal. In an emotionally charged climax, Judge Lake announces that
it has been determined by this Mr. Tucker. You are the father.